Welcome to Clarity Currents, the secret podcast with me, 𝙗𝙗𝙨, where I share weekly channeled messages about the energetics of the week and the areas of opportunity, so you know how to work with the energy rather than in resistance to it and know how to leverage it for your highest level good in your business, relationships, health, wealth, spirituality, and legacy. This is Clarity Currents episode for the week of December 22nd through the 28th, 2025. Let's dive in. When I tune into the overall energetics of the week, I see a vision of this field completely covered in white snow, where everything is quiet, still, and untouched. But there's this soft glow that you can see on the horizon, which is signaling that something new is preparing to emerge. This is a week of deep emotional composting. The energy is not asking you to move forward yet, but it is asking you to let something finish dissolving inside of you. Thoughts, identities, desires, or even emotional patterns that you've been carrying all year are quietly loosening their grip. Early in the week may feel emotionally intense or internally transformative, especially when it comes to themes of power, control, and personal truth. You may feel things shifting beneath the surface without fully understanding why, but just trust that something is being restructured at a soul level. The invitation this week is don't rush clarity, don't force closure, and let the internal transformation complete itself. By the end of the week, there is a sense of renewal and emotional recalibration, kind of like you finally set something down that you didn't even realize you were still holding. Business for the week of December 22nd. When I tune into the energetics of business this week, I see a vision of a closet being slowly emptied, item by item. Some pieces are beautiful, but no longer fit, and others were worn out of habit, rather than because you really like them. This is a week of discernment. You may find yourself questioning certain offers, strategies, roles, or even expectations that you placed on yourself. And it's not because any of those things are wrong, but because your capacity and identity have shifted. The energy is asking, what am I still carrying in my business because it once made sense, not because it still does? And where am I saying yes out of obligation rather than true resonance? And this energy is not about burning it all down, but it is about editing it all with honesty. And as the week progresses, you may feel that quiet relief as you mentally release what no longer belongs. The relief is your confirmation that you're making space for what's next. There's no action required yet, just clarity, truth, and space. Relationships for the week of December 22nd. When I tune into the energetics of relationships this week, I see a vision of two people standing back to back, both facing their own inner landscape, their own inner worlds. This is a week where emotional independence is highlighted. You might feel this need for space because your nervous system is integrating a year's worth of emotional experiences. So this can bring moments of sensitivity, quiet reflection, or even miscommunication if things are spoken too quickly or too reactively. The message here is to pause before responding, listen beneath the words, and allow emotions to move without needing immediate resolution. By Sunday, it feels like there's a potential for healing realization or even conversations that bring relief, clarity, and a renewed sense of emotional honesty, especially around identity and self-expression. Health for the week of December 22nd. When I tune into the energetics of health this week, I see a vision of the body exhaling deeply, like it's finally allowed to stop bracing. Your nervous system has been working overtime this year, and this week supports rest, gentle movement, warmth, and simplicity. You may notice some heightened emotional responses or even a little bit of fatigue midweek, but this is just your system recalibrating and releasing stored stress. So be mindful of overstimulation, especially around conversations, screens, or obligations that might feel draining. The medicine this week is slowing down without guilt. Your body is preparing you to re-enter momentum refreshed rather than depleted. Wealth for the week of December 22nd. When I tune into the energetics of wealth this week, I see a vision of a locked door with a key that's already in your hand, but you're not turning it yet because this is a preparatory phase. You may feel eager to move forward financially or make decisions around money, investments, or expansion, but the energy says wait until the emotional integration is complete. This week invites you to examine your relationship with safety, where you seek external validation through money, whether your financial goals feel supportive or pressurized. And by the weekend, clarity begins to return around what kind of wealth actually feels nourishing to you, not just impressive to you. Spirituality for the week of December 22nd. When I tune into the energetics of spirituality this week, I see a vision of a candle burning steadily in this dark room. It's quiet, consistent, and unwavering. Your spiritual connection doesn't need to be dramatic right now. It just needs to be grounded and present. This is a powerful week for prayer, meditation, journaling, dream work. Pay close attention to the intuitive messages you're receiving, especially Friday into Saturday. Insights might arrive slowly through dreams, sudden knowings, or even subtle emotional shifts that create powerful change. The guidance is clear this week, which is to stay connected, but not consumed. And legacy for the week of December 22nd. When I tune into the energetics of legacy this week, I see a vision of someone removing an old coat and placing it gently on the ground, then standing taller without it. So this coat represents an identity that you've outgrown. And you don't need to define what's next yet. You only need to stop carrying what no longer belongs to you. So ask yourself, who am I when I stop performing for approval? And what version of me is ready to lead differently? By the end of the week, there is a sense of integration and self-recognition, kind of as if the pieces that you finally come together in a way that feels honest and sustainable for your legacy. There you have it, Hot Soul, your intuitive forecast for the week. Wishing you a week of deep release, sacred rest, and soulful renewal. Until next week.